Hello. Hope you're well. Of course. I was thinking about rarity. um, there's a series. I guess it's in. I think it's in Matthew where Jesus, because heaven is like a man who finds a treasure in a field, or he finds a pearl, and he exchanges everything when he finds this thing of unbelievable value, and of course his faith. And I can remember that when I was a kid. You remember some of the stories you always hear, and I just remember that I remember it, and I thought I kind of understand it, but I'm a kid, so I don't. But it just sticks with you, and then it keeps repeating, and I think that's of course all God, and what's really nice is when you've carried something around in your mind for 50 years or whatever, 60, and then all of a sudden it kind of comes in focus, and that's kind of like, it's really nice. It's kind of like, you ever think about like what is it, before Abraham was Abram, God says, I'm going to make you a descendant, and it was like, and then 50 years later he revisits him and says, okay, now don't forget, I'm going to do and I think if we went 50 years just waiting for the next reassurance, then in another 30 years you're going to have your child. But isn't that the same idea? That must be one of God's ways of working, to plant a seed and then to teach you that, yep, if I make it happen in a million years, it's just as real, the promise, and only we being human think, oh, I must have not meant it, or it was a mistake. No wonder they were always asking for signs so they could know that this is what God wanted, because they thought it was going to be a long time until I know, so I don't want to miss it. So I think there's a lot of there's a human nature, right? And of course God's got that under control. So what I was thinking about was when I went to college, I took my favorite science was geology. I liked geology. I liked the whole concept of how rocks are formed, and transforming of coal or carbon into diamonds through relentless pressure and temperature. It just won't give up, and won't give up, and won't give up, and then now you're a diamond. It's like, but it can't feel good, right, for those X number of million years. Anyway, what I was thinking then is like there's places like, I think it's even in Isaiah where he says, man will seek out things under the earth, and all the things that we do now, mining and a space exploration and this, and we'll create this and that, it was ages and ages ago prophesied, we're going to do this. And so I was just thinking about like rubies and diamonds, they're so rare, and because they're rare, we value them. And I think then that must be like a sign from God, because the thing itself is basically useless, right? I mean, if I had a diamond, I couldn't do anything with it. Or if I had a giant ruby, I'm going to hang it on myself. I'm not going to do that. But I can appreciate, what I can appreciate is, I guess it's purity and its rarity. And so I think that's what that should lead you to then is, who made this? The thing itself almost doesn't mean anything. But if you find it and then you say, now, whoever made this, that's who I want to find. Who created this thing? And then that's, to me, is where the thing that was I found this treasure, and I want to buy it, right? I want to find out. It's not enough to own it. I can't have faith and then be a crumb the rest of my life to everyone else and say, well, you know what, I got faith, so I have no worries whatsoever. Discovering it should make you hungry to meet the Maker who created it, and I think that's where God really, wants you to be. So He doesn't fill the world, with gems. They're rare. You have to look to find them. And then we think we found it. And I think, isn't that sometimes how we are? We look for this thing, and we think, having found it, everything's going to be fine. We're not going to worry. We're not going to fret. We're going to be the same people. But having found this thing that's pure, and it doesn't even know it exists. I mean, it doesn't even know that it's like a diamond. It doesn't even know it exists. And here we seek them out. And I think that's the thing about when we find something rare, we want to possess it. But the idea is to just realize it, and then to go to find the person who can make it, like it was nothing. So I was just thinking about geology and what is it to be rare and to not even know that you're rare? That's like an extra beauty. And then I think that's the beautiful people that we meet in life, because you meet people. It could be just a chance occurrence, or maybe you've known them for long periods of time. And what you like about them is they don't even know that they're so beautiful and rare, because God made them that way. And then it's all they care about is God, right? And that's the same thing. Once you find faith, you realize yourself, but you don't care so much about yourself. You just care about God. And then God, of course, cares for you. And so it's a very wholesome thing. It's not like so I would deprive myself of everything now because I have no value. It's exactly the opposite. You become, non-egotistical. You're not arrogant. You're just grateful. Oh, God made me. I'm so grateful God made me. And then you think of all the things God makes and how, wow, it's just, it's just a beautiful concept. And I think then, of course, this is kind of an example of how faith works to me. So if there's some story that's been rolling around in your head, I've got like a million more from the Bible that I just can't fathom it. You get 2 sentences into Genesis, and I'm like, I don't know. I never heard of that. I didn't know there were other people before Adam and Eve. And it's like, oh my gosh. But so you accept them. So I don't know what this is, but maybe, and I think, of course, everything then eventually you will get the understanding of, but everything in its time. And if God wants to take 500 years, then I guess I would probably ask for a sign too, so I didn't forget. And he says you're not supposed to ask for signs, but he knows we're human. But I think it's just a beautiful thing how anywhere you go, you're going to find something that represents this whole deep mystery and beauty of faith. Anywhere you go, you're going to find it in a rock, in a person, in a smell, in a sound. And it's just, we're just totally surrounded by God. And I don't think that we realize how rare we are. So anyway, to all my rare friends, I hope you're having a beautiful summer. See you soon.